Everyone praises Mikasa Ackerman for her unwavering loyalty. But what if I told you her greatest strength is also her deepest flaw? How far does her obsession with Eren really go? And what does that say about the hero we think she is? To most fans, Mikasa Ackerman stands as the ultimate symbol of selfless devotion. A protective shield whose every action screams courage, loyalty, and sacrifice. She's the backbone of the Survey Corps, the quiet warrior with a tragic past and an unbreakable will to protect those she loves. For many, Mikasa is the emotional heart of Attack on Titan. She's an icon, both as an elite fighter and as a figure of limitless empathy. Fans love Mikasa because she embodies relentless dedication. Her iconic red scarf, her stoic expressions, her intense drive, each has become a symbol of strength and survival. People admire her for standing by Eren against impossible odds. She represents that rare ideal. Someone who never gives up on those she loves, no matter the cost. It's that undying commitment which has made her legendary. But here's the thing. There's a moment in episode 6 of season 1 that fans often gloss over. After almost losing Eren, Mikasa slaughters Titans with a ferocity bordering on mania, declaring, "If I can't win, I die, but if I win, I live. I can't win unless I fight." For a split second, we see not a hero, but someone utterly consumed by loss, teetering not just on the edge of hope, but of obsession. The illusion begins to crack. Let's look at what the story actually shows us. Throughout the series, Mikasa's identity is almost entirely defined by Eren. In countless scenes, she disregards orders, logic, and even her own survival instinct just to keep him safe. In the Trost arc, she abandons her post after hearing Eren might still be alive, putting the mission and others at risk. When Armin tries to reason with her, she refuses to listen and powers forward, driven by emotion, blind to the consequences. And it gets even more uncomfortable. In chapter 112 of the manga, during the infamous table scene, Eren tells Mikasa outright, "I've always hated you." Instead of questioning her loyalty, Mikasa almost reflexively defends him, attacking Armin, her childhood friend, simply because Eren gives the order. Even in the face of emotional rejection and verbal abuse, her devotion remains unshaken. This is not just loyalty. This is psychological dependency. This isn't an isolated lapse. Over and over, Mikasa's choices reveal a pattern. When faced with any threat to Eren, she defaults to violence, control, and defiance of authority. From the early days when she kills Eren's kidnappers as a child, to the very end, when she must kill Eren himself, her entire emotional world orbits around him. It's an obsession, not a partnership. And here's what fans don't want to admit. The context matters. Mikasa is consistently surrounded by characters like Armin, Jean, or Levi, who wrestle with personal feelings, but ultimately put the greater good or collective survival first. Mikasa, however, routinely chooses Eren, even when it means risking everyone else. The narrative often frames her as tragic or admirable, but the facts suggest something less flattering. Her devotion often borders on selfishness, with real consequences for her comrades. To be fair, Mikasa's fixation isn't baseless. She suffers horrific trauma early in life, witnessing her parents' murder, facing human cruelty, and being rescued by Eren in a moment of ultimate vulnerability. That red scarf isn't just a symbol of affection. It's a talisman of survival, a reminder that someone once saved her when she was utterly helpless. Her entire world narrows to a single point: never lose Eren. In that sense, Mikasa is both tragic and sympathetic. But understanding her trauma is not the same as excusing how it shapes her flaws. What we're really seeing are powerful psychological defenses. Denial, insisting Eren is still a good person, even as his actions become monstrous. Projection, blaming the world or others for threatening Eren, rather than facing the reality of his transformation. Rationalization, believing every extreme act is justified because it's to protect Eren. Mikasa builds a fortress of lies just to keep her core fear at bay, that one day she will lose him and become powerless again. At her very core, Mikasa is driven by an unbearable fear of abandonment, a terror so deep it overrides everything else. Saving Eren is not just love, it's a desperate attempt to keep her own identity from collapsing. The tragedy is, she isn't protecting Eren so much as she is protecting herself from reliving her original trauma. Her devotion is a desperate self-preservation, disguised as loyalty. But who pays the price for Mikasa's obsession? The answer is stark. Her comrades, Armin, and even Eren himself. Her actions undermine the chain of command, endangering missions and costing lives. Her inability to confront Eren's dissent delays hard choices, which allows destruction and suffering to escalate. Even Armin, her closest friend, becomes a casualty of her tunnel vision, ostracized and attacked for daring to question her worldview. The ripple effects extend far beyond her immediate circle. Mikasa's absolute focus on Eren blinds her to the evolving threat he represents, a mistake with catastrophic consequences for all of humanity. Her inability to act independently contributes to the Survey Corps' strategic failures and ultimately feeds into the narrative tragedy. By clinging so tightly, she enables the very doom she hopes to prevent. So, let's be honest. For all her courage and sacrifice, Mikasa's obsession causes measurable harm. She protects Eren at the cost of others and ultimately herself. The math isn't comfortable. Her fixation enables violence, drives division, and escalates loss. The good she does comes tangled in a net of pain she inflicts, however unwittingly. Here's the revelation fans avoid. Mikasa Ackerman is not a paragon of selfless love. She's a tragic case of emotional dependency, driven by loss and fear. She fits the obsessed protector archetype, not the classic hero. Her darkness isn't villainy, it's unchecked trauma masquerading as devotion. Why do fans resist this view? Because we want to believe in the purity of her love. The idea that loyalty is always virtuous. The story manipulates us, using her traumatic backstory, gentle moments, and quiet suffering to keep our sympathy. It's easier to see her as heroic than to confront the uncomfortable complexity the narrative actually provides. But the deeper reading is richer. In truth, Mikasa represents the human cost of trauma, the dangerous side of love, and our need to belong. Hajime Isayama doesn't offer a simplistic heroine. He offers us a warning about what happens when identity fuses with obsession. Mikasa's struggle isn't just personal, it's universal, an allegory for how fear warps devotion. The great irony? To save the one she loves, Mikasa must ultimately destroy him. In the end, by clinging too tightly, she fulfills her deepest fear, ending up alone, defined not by love, but by the loss she could never accept. Her path is not noble self-sacrifice, but self-defeat. So what does this say about heroism in anime? About our own need to cling to comforting illusions? If Mikasa is both victim and perpetrator, what does that mean for how we judge other complex characters? And what uncomfortable truths are we trying to avoid, just like her? Mikasa matters because her darkness is all too human. Her flaws make her relatable. Her tragedy makes her unforgettable. She forces us to confront the dangers lurking beneath devotion and reminds us why stories at their best reveal us to ourselves. Mikasa Ackerman isn't simply a loyal protector. She's a portrait of how love and fear can become chains, not wings. So the next time you see Mikasa wrapped in her red scarf, ask yourself, is she protecting Eren or herself from facing the past? In our next video, we'll uncover the destructive pride behind another fan favorite, the uncomfortable truth they don't want you to see about Levi Ackerman.